Well, thank you. There's a couple rules in politics. You never follow ministers when they're speaking, you never follow kids when they're dancing, and try not to follow Nancy Pelosi at events. So that's, I very violated that rule, and now you can tell why I'm a rookie. First of all, thank you, Doug, and all my friends from Arizona. You guys have been with me, since my State House days, since we first started together. It should not come as a surprise that I'm going to be with you guys, especially in these very necessary fights. And thank you again for the Alliance for Retired Americans, just for all the work you've done this year, not just on Social Security and Medicare, but also on helping us fight TPP and TPA. So one question to ask, so why, me as a millennial, why am I here talking to the Alliance for Retired Americans? And I think for me, I think it's important that we clearly talk as millennials, as progressives, why we believe in secured retirement. Because there really is no middle class, and if you're a progressive, you believe in a strong middle class, a strong, wide middle class. But there is no middle class, and there is no American prosperity without secure retirement. There is no strong middle class without secure and adequate health care, such as Medicare. And there certainly is no secure middle class without union jobs that pay well, that give the worker dignity, and don't get shipped overseas. This is important if you consider yourself a young millennial and you consider yourself a progressive. But let's be clear, every day we're here in the fight. And you hear these words they use, such as defined contributions or premium support or entitlements, something that I really dislike, because it's not an entitlement. I've worked since the age of 14. I've been paying into Social Security and Medicare since the age of 14. Many of you guys have even been paying longer than that. And I am not entitled to anything. I have earned that, and you have all earned that. So when you're out there, you're hearing them talk about using all these kind of funny words, don't be fooled. All they really want to do at the end of the day is they want to dismantle Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Something that we understand is the pure definition of what has made this country a prosperous, generous, and middle-class economy. And what they want to do is still take every opportunity to destroy it. And I don't have to, exaggerate too much. Recently, you have, Jeb Bush talking about how we may have to increase the retirement age to save Social Security. Well, I have another solution. Why don't we just increase the taxes you haven't been paying for the last 30, 40 years, Jeb? Today, another presidential candidate said, in order for us to increase productivity and get GDP growth back to 4%, Americans are just going to have to work longer. He said work longer, but didn't say the most important part to that, also getting paid more. And I think there's something that people are forgetting. Every time we work, every time y'all work, we buy things. And when we buy things, the economy grows. The only way that continues to happen is if we understand the place and time of how important Social Security and Medicare is to this economy. But let's just look at the facts. If you talk to the press, they'd imagine that almost all the retirees in this country are a bunch of millionaires. Just, living it off on the golf course. Well, some of them are in Arizona, because I visited with it, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that either. But if you imagine that, almost every retiree is a millionaire, and that we could just cut a little here, cut a little there, and they won't even feel the pressure. But let's look at the facts. Half of all people that live on Medicare have less of an income than $22,000 a year. And if you're African American Latino, like my family is, the Latino side, actually also a little African American, we as families will have less than $14,000 a year. $14,000 a year, below the federal poverty line. And if you are that person that lives with that, where does most of your money go? Once you pay for your rent, God willing if you have that, or the mortgage, you still got to pay for your health care costs, your premiums, cost sharings, co-pays, and let's not forget, you still got to pay for food, and you all have good grandkids that want something, a little gift here and there once in a while. And I know this. I have a wonderful mom who sacrificed for years raising 4 kids on her own to make sure that we had a secure future. You know, on her own, she put us through college, 4 of us, lifelong secretary, never making, exorbitant wages. She's now nearing retirement. And I look at it now, when she starts planning for retirement, I plan for retirement. And why am I planning for retirement for her? Because I'm a good son and I'm not gonna let her fail. And because I'm not gonna let her fail, I'm gonna make sure that she's got great Medicare. I'm gonna make sure that her Social Security is maxed out to the every point possible. I'm gonna make sure that she has a secure house to live in. And because I'm doing that, I'm also going to assure that I also have money to spend on my family's future. But we have this idea in America that if we cut in our seniors, we cut for our seniors, we cut healthcare to our seniors, we cut Social Security seniors, that somehow younger people, younger generations are going to be better off. We're not going to be better off because our younger generations, we are not going to abandon our parents and our grandparents to the streets. What we will end up doing is abandoning the buying of cars, buying of houses, investing in ourselves, and in turn, truly destroying, I think, what we understand the American economy is. So for all these things, when you hear these politicians talking, these cuts do have real consequences. Not just for them, not just for our seniors, but for all the families that we live together and support. Seniors, and especially my Latino seniors, we don't live in silos. We're not gonna allow them to be disconnected from the world, shuttled into the corner and onto the streets. So we know whenever they try to change the healthcare and economic status, it affects everybody, and we're not going to allow that to happen. This is why it's important that we're here. Right now, we are no longer talking on being on defense. It's time for us to go on offense. The way we start going on offense is we make sure we remind people that Medicare is what's causing the cost of healthcare to calm down, to go down, something that we've been trying to figure out for years as a government. Instead of talking about how Social Security is going broke, we need to talk about how we're going to expand Social Security to make it more generous, and actually last longer by making more people pay a fair share into the Social Security tax. We need to understand that right now, while you may hear the pundits, you may hear the politicians talking about how things are going down, let us reflect that we have won almost every major battle when it comes to Medicare and Medicaid. When they tried to make Medicare into a voucher, we all stood up and fought, and we won that battle. When they tried to put Social Security on Wall Street, a Wall Street that has glitches for hours on end, and we don't know what happened, but yet they want you to trust trillions of dollars of your retirement with them. When they try to do that, we won. Now we're going into an election year where you're going to have a lot of these men and some women on the right who still believe in a false god of trickle-down economics. They're going to try to take a program, 2 programs that have basically lifted our seniors out of poverty and try to do some voodoo politics on it. We need to push back. So I really encourage you, whoever you're going to vote for, Democrat, I hope, but whoever you're going to vote for, you have to remind them that Social Security, Medicare, and the expansion of both are key to an American prosperity, are a way to actually lift us out of middle class, and is something that is impossible for us as Americans to live without. So do not let them, talk these false words to you. Do not let them tell you how we just need someone to work a little longer, for someone to give a little more, when at the same time they're not even willing to open up their wallet a little more. That is not acceptable. That is not acceptable, and more important, it is un-American for us, for you all, to take all the hurt that was basically given to this economy over the last 8 years from the same people that are basically trying to rob your retirement. So please continue the fight. I enjoy being your member of Congress. I enjoy carrying your voice, but I need your help all the times. I need you to come visit me and keep on giving your opinion. Doug, you already do that very well, but you're welcome to continue doing it. But I really appreciate all you guys are doing, and please continue fighting with us. Thank you.